One of the things that I really wanted to do last time I was at Badlands, and then specifically on this trip, was to get out into the south unit. Part of the thing that kind of scared me on the south unit is the warning saying that your vehicle has to have X ground clearance and blah, blah, blah. Well, today we're going to find out how well the Outback does. Now, the Outback technically does meet the ground clearance requirements for coming down. I'm on the Sheep Table Road, and that is all of this behind me. Let's go.
Getting to the top of Sheep Mountain Table is actually pretty easy. It's a fast drive, only taking about 10 minutes from the entrance to the top. The road does get a bit narrow toward the top, and slipping 2 vehicles past will be a snug fit. Along the way, there are a couple stop-offs where you can get a little bit closer to the geology of the area. And while this is called Sheep Mountain Table, it's far from what most people would consider a mountain. Its top is about 3,100 feet above sea level, but it's only about a 200-foot elevation gain from the entrance. It's still a great place to stop off and visit if you have the time, since it is a bit of a drive from the main park. You can tell that this area is less touristy and mostly forgotten by the average visitor.
Decided to go a little bit farther past where that video just showed me. The trail ended up splitting off onto more of a grassy trail. There ended up being 2 of them. I decided to take the grassy one because as much as I love my Outback, looking at the other trail, I'm not an idiot either. So I went up a little bit farther, and unfortunately that grass trail kind of came back to the main path. And it was just too much of a ridge that I didn't want to attempt. I knew I would have high-centered it if I did. So I've turned around, I got to see it. I got to do a little bit of off-roading that I was comfortable with without having a spotter. And now we're gonna go back down. I found another little trail that kind of wandered off. It ended up being a little bit rough, but nothing that the Outback couldn't handle, not like the other trail where I was a little bit worried. But I was rewarded with this particular view. I'm back at the entrance, made it out safe and sound, no damage, everything's good. I'm impressed at how well the Outback handled. There were a couple of rough spots. I didn't even have to engage the X mode, so I'm really happy with it. I probably could have pushed myself a little bit farther, but I didn't have a spotter, and without a spotter, I really didn't want to risk it because I don't want to get stuck out here. That would be really expensive to get unstuck. The geology in this section of the park, which is the south unit, it's about 40 miles away from the main park, or at least about 40 miles away from right about the visitor center. It's the same geology in the sense that it's the same sediment, it's the same stuff that makes up all the layers, but how it's eroded away is completely different. This area is covered in these tables, which are these. And they're kind of popped up everywhere. Sheep's Table is a giant table. Here's a picture on satellite, and I was up on top of it. I will say the view from the table up toward the Black Hills was spectacular. And of course, now that I'm leaving, I'm starting to see some possible storm towers starting to develop off in the distance. So now I'm wondering if I should have just stayed for a while to see if they got photogenic. But I want to get back. I've got to go to the bathroom, and I'm getting hungry. So that's it from the south unit today. I might try and stop if there's a couple pull-offs on the way back to the main park, but it was a good trip, and I'm absolutely happy that I took the time to come out here.